Hi everyone, welcome back to Deep Dive Daily. All right, let's just get right into it. Today we're tackling one of the biggest social divides on the entire planet. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the person who paints their face, screams at the TV for 3 hours straight, versus the person who just kind of looks around and genuinely asks, wait, is there a big game on today or something? So, if you've ever felt like you're missing some crucial gene that makes you care about sports, well, you might actually be right. We are going to unpack the fascinating science behind why some of us are diehard fans and others just aren't. And believe it or not, it all starts with a single surprising number. That's right, 60%. According to the data, that's how many Americans are religiously following sports. It's a massive number, and yeah, it totally explains why sports culture is just everywhere. But for us, that brings up a way more interesting question. What is going on with the rest of us? Are we broken? Are we boring? Absolutely not. It turns out our brains are just wired for a completely different kind of game. But to understand that, we first have to get why the fan brain is so incredibly powerful to begin with. Okay, so let's dive into this. For literally thousands and thousands of years, being part of a tribe, well, it meant survival. Right? Your group protected you, helped you find food, and basically kept you alive. And modern sports, they tap directly into that ancient, hardwired instinct. It's our modern-day tribe, just with way better merchandise. And there's real science behind this feeling, you know? When you watch your team, your brain releases oxytocin. That's the same love hormone that helps you bond with your family and your friends. It's this powerful little trick your brain plays, making you feel like those athletes are literally part of your clan and creating this primal sense of belonging. And this creates like a fundamental split in how we see the world. The fan brain, it thrives on that us versus them mentality. It's simple, it's clear, and it reinforces your group identity. The non-fan brain, however, tends to operate from a more individualistic place. And look, it's not that they're antisocial or anything. It's just that their sense of self isn't quite as tied to belonging to a huge group. They don't need a team to feel whole. But it's not just about tribal instincts. Oh no. There's also a powerful chemical reaction happening during every single game that is, for lack of a better word, pretty addictive. Think about it. Every single play, every pass, every shot, it's all completely unpredictable. You have no idea what's going to happen next, and that anticipation, it makes your brain release these little micro doses of dopamine, the pleasure and reward chemical. It's this constant cycle of tension and release that just leaves your brain craving more and more. This whole process is called intermittent reinforcement, and it is one of the most powerful psychological tools for creating habits. It is the exact same reward schedule that makes slot machines and video games so completely compelling. The uncertainty is the key here. Your brain doesn't know when the reward is coming, so it stays hooked, just waiting for that next hit. And get this, your level of interest might not even be a conscious choice. Research actually suggests that the sensitivity of your dopamine receptors, something that's determined by your genes, can literally predict how much you'll care about watching sports. So yeah, your total indifference might just be written in your DNA. Wild, right? This intense brain chemistry, it also changes the very language we use to talk about success and failure. It creates this fascinating psychological thing that you have definitely heard before. I want you to pay attention the next time you hear a fan talking. When their team wins, they'll almost always say, "We won." But when the team loses, all of a sudden it becomes, they lost. See that quick pronoun switch? That is not an accident. This is a classic psychological defense mechanism called purging, or basking in reflected glory. We link our own self-esteem to the team's victory to get that amazing boost, but we psychologically distance ourselves from their failures to protect our own ego. Non-fans are simply less likely to do this because their self-esteem isn't tied to an outcome they literally can't control. So this brings us back to the 40%. If they aren't getting these tribal chemical and psychological highs from sports, where are they finding that same level of passion and meaning? Well, it all comes down to something called empathy allocation. See, it's not that non-fans lack passion, it's that their brains are wired to invest that emotional energy differently. Studies show that people with low sports interest consistently score higher on a major personality trait called openness to experience, which is exactly what it sounds like, a deep appreciation for art, emotion, adventure, and new ideas. They're getting that same feeling of transcendence and connection and meaning, but from totally different sources. So instead of a championship game, their emotional peak might come from a beautiful piece of music, a breakthrough on a creative project, or a deep connection in a personal relationship.
It's the same human need, just a different outlet.
And this all really boils down to two fundamentally different ways of engaging with the world and finding meaning. It's the difference between being a spectator and being a participant. For a sports fan, the thrill comes from this parasocial investment. It's a one-sided relationship where you pour all this emotional energy into a team that has no idea you even exist. You have zero control over the outcome, and for many people, that is part of the excitement and the drama of it all. The non-fan, on the other hand, usually prefers direct engagement. They invest their passion where there can actually be some back and forth, in relationships, hobbies, or causes where their care and their effort can actually influence the outcome. They're not spectators in their own emotional lives. They're active participants. But listen, ultimately, neither of these approaches is better or worse. They are just different neurological and psychological strategies for finding meaning and getting to that state of complete absorption that we all crave. So if you don't care about sports, you're not broken. You're not boring. Your brain's reward system is just calibrated a little differently. In the end, whether you're watching a screen or you're creating something of your own, we're all just looking for a narrative that makes us feel alive. So it's worth asking yourself, what's the game that you're playing? All right, that is it for today. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this, share it around, and subscribe for more. Drop a comment below with your views. I want to know what game you're playing. See you tomorrow at the same time.